And the Bears still do have a shot at the playoffs, though, but we may not be seeing them in Tampa Bay for the Super Bowl, not the way they look right now. Which NFC team, Nate, do you think needs to wake up as we head towards this playoff stretch? It's going to be here before we know it.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Seems like that offense is sleeping right now. And defensively, they got enough. And I know people are saying, well, Nate, they faced the Chiefs, and Tyreek Hill went off on Carlton Davis. Carlton Davis was going up against the most dangerous receiver in the game, and he gave up huge numbers. Okay, most DBs in the game cannot stop Tyreek Hill. So I'm not looking at their defense saying that's the problem. I'm looking at the offensive side of the ball. We're listening to Tom Brady. Seems like week in and week out, that smile turns into a little bit of a grin, and now it's turned into a frown. And every time he steps up in front of the podium, it seems like he's irritated. Well, so are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans who saw this all-star roster and thought one of two things. This is either going to be like a Pro Bowl game, or this is going to be like Karl Malone and Gary Payton with the Lakers.
Yeah,
superstars that we once respected, putting on a new jersey, and it just isn't going to pan out. So for me, it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're way too loaded. They have too much talent. And it's not necessarily about Tom Brady being old and not making throws. He can still throw downfield. They're just not on the same page. And I said it before, it sounds very cliche, but Kyle put it perfectly. This is a perfect time to have a bye. What are you going to do? You're going to vacation, chill, hang out with the family? Or are you going to do what's necessary? Put in work so you can get on the same page.
I follow a lot of people on Twitter. I saw a very funny meme from a Giants beat writer. It was Bart Simpson at the chalkboard saying, I will not wake up and look at the NFC East standings. I will not wake up and look at the NFC East standings.
Not bad.
Because you start convincing yourselves when you're one of these NFC East teams in this horrendous division that, wait a second, we're still alive. Maybe we got a shot. And who knows, if we get in the tournament, we could... And there's no team that is more guilty of that than the Dallas Cowboys. They are still alive. They are in last place in the worst division this sport has maybe ever seen, the 2020 NFC East. And yet at 3-8, the Cowboys are right within striking distance. There are no more watermelons to be smashed. All we really have to do is hold on to the football and not make boneheaded decisions all game long from the coaching staff. Let's get to the Thursday game at Thanksgiving. Ezekiel Elliott with this fumble. This was a backbreaker. Ezekiel Elliott leads all non-quarterbacks in fumbles lost this season. His whole MO leading up to the season was that the guy never fumbles. He's a sure-handed guy. If Zeke can find a way to hold on to the football over the last 5 weeks of the season, maybe we win this division. How about this decision? Down 4 with the defense playing out of its mind over the last few drives. The call is for a fake punt. I don't even know what the decision, like that reverse, if you watch that again, like there was no pass option. There was nothing.
Peter, that play greatly affected you.
That play made me, I think I didn't, it wasn't because of all the indigestion I had from the 7 pounds I put on Thursday. That play kept me up all night on Thursday night.
I know.
Because it's basically like do less.
I know.
Like do less, Cowboys, and you're in this. So wake up call, I don't know, it was watermelons or it was in being embarrassed on national TV, losing 41-16 to your rivals. The Cowboys are still alive. Like, if they find something in December, maybe. And guess what? I don't think it's out of the question. I'm supposed to not look at the standings.
He's got to win it.
I'm not supposed to look at the standings, yet there's still a game out. And I think they probably have more talent on the field than any other team in that division.
We'll have to consult groundskeeper Willie on his thoughts on that. I would just say that the team that it needs to wake up might have already woken up. It's the team that put Dallas to sleep. I'm talking about the football team. I'm talking Washington.
Let's do it.
I'm into this, and I think it's really simple. I think they have the best quarterback in the division, and I don't think it's close. I've thought all season that Alex Smith is the best quarterback on the team. It just took him a while to get there. Who would you want to win a big game? If the 4 of these teams got in a ring and said who's going to win, I don't care if it is Daniel Jones healthy. I certainly don't care if it's Carson Wentz. I mean, is it Andy Dalton? I think it's Alex Smith. The playoff-tested #1 overall pick is suddenly the surest thing, and they play their defense. So you tell me. Established head coach, good defense, veteran quarterback. This thing feels like a wrap. And they've won 2 in a row. Now, granted, they beat the Cowboys and they beat the Bengals in the game that Burrow got hurt.
Right.
But I've been riding the Eagles for months, just saying, get to 5 wins. They're so bad. Alex Smith, I think, changed the whole division. And I know he's not been spectacular. I don't really care. He's a professional. He's a veteran. He's a leader. He's even aside from the story. Take that completely out of the injury story. He just knows the hell he's doing. And I don't know if any of these guys, including Carson Wentz, do. If you were to say right now, You got to throw it all in. Everything you got, your future, every dime in your name, and one of these teams to win it. I'm going to go with Washington,
Antonio
which is
Gibson,
wild.
they're getting things
Yeah,
together.
I'm
He's
telling
great.
you, Washington. I never thought that would be coming out. I'm going to go with them.
Should we screen grab this conversation and revisit it?
If I had to pick one, well, let's do it. Who would you pick? Who would you pick if you had right now one team's going to win the East? I got Washington.
Yeah, I think I would go Dallas.
You're going to go
I
Dallas?
think I would still go Dallas.
Mike McCarthy.
I think there's too much talent on the field.
It's December, Peter.
I'll go with the football team. Who you got?
Okay.
Going with the Giants.
Giants?
Go with the Giants. I like
The
it.
Giants. I just like what Joe Judge. It's almost like Joe Judge has coached these guys to deal with everything that they have dealt with up to this point.
Yeah.
And I feel like they went through everything.
And
They
Daniel
went through the
Jones isn't
injuries. They
serious.
went through Golden Tate almost being out, coming back, getting benched.
They might have Colt McCoy at quarterback for the next 2 weeks.
And they have the cohesiveness. Like, I think more so than most teams. The one thing you said, though, about the Washington football team that stands out the most is that defense. People are they're not
Really good.
You are not paying attention to that Washington football team
Yeah.
D-line. They might be as good as anybody right now at pressuring the quarterbacks and making QBs feel uncomfortable.
You know who they
As
got
good as advertised.
Yeah, tell them.
They're at the Steelers.
Do you know who the Giants
Washington
have?
does?
You know who the Giants have? Giants are at Seattle.
Okay.
I'm telling you guys, don't make
They
any
might get
decisions.
clobbered this week, but then it doesn't really matter in the scheme of things.
You're right.
No one's going
100%.
to win out.
Does
Win
not
the next
matter.
two. I like Washington. I guess. I woke up this morning liking Washington. It feels good.
Ron, we love you. We love Ron.
I won't.
Okay, let's bring in Tom Pelissero. Tom, welcome to the program. We got some news yesterday about another postponement before the Steelers can face Washington. They have to face the Ravens. What's the latest on what is now, I believe, the third postponement of this one?
Third postponement and hopefully the last, Kay, for the Ravens and Steelers, who will not play tonight. That game pushed back to tomorrow, allowing the NFL's medical experts to have another day of COVID-19 testing results to make sure that the outbreak is over. Also allow Baltimore players to get back in the building for some conditioning work, which began yesterday. That also forced the shuffling of a couple other games. So here is what the schedule looks like now. The Ravens and Steelers with a 3:40 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff tomorrow, accommodating NBC, which also has the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree lighting. They were not going to move that, so we've got afternoon football on a Wednesday. And in Week 13, the Washington Steelers game gets pushed back one day to 5 p.m. Eastern on Monday. And the Cowboys and Ravens, which originally was supposed to be played this Thursday night, then got pushed back to Monday. It'll now be next Tuesday at 8:05 p.m. Eastern. Now, it's important to understand these are medical decisions, not competitive ones when it comes to moving around the schedule. But there are competitive implications here. For the Ravens, running backs J.K. Dobbins and Mark Ingram, who would not have been eligible to play last Thursday or Sunday or